Ever heard that ostriches bury their heads in the sand when they're scared? Well, in the fascinating sphere of animal survival, myths like these abound, intriguing and misleading in equal measure. Today, we're setting out on a journey of debunking these long-held beliefs, shedding light on the actual behaviors of our planet's diverse and remarkable creatures. From the swiftest birds to the most mysterious sea creatures, we're going to unravel the truth behind 10 popular myths. It's not just about setting the record straight, it's about appreciating the complex and often surprising strategies animals employ to survive in the wild. Because knowing the truth about these creatures, their habits, their instincts, their survival tactics, enhances our understanding of nature's intricate web. So buckle up, fellow truth seekers, as we venture into the realm of animal survival, where fact often proves stranger than fiction. Let's dive into these myths and uncover the truth together, shall we? So, about those ostriches. There's a popular belief that these large, flightless birds bury their heads in the sand when faced with danger. But hold on to your feathers, because this is a myth, folks. In reality, ostriches have a much more effective and practical approach to danger. When threatened, they prefer to flee, capable of reaching speeds up to 40 miles per hour. If escape isn't an option, an ostrich might choose to lie flat, blending in with the ground, not sticking its head into it. This behavior could be what sparked the myth in the first place, as from a distance, an ostrich lying low can appear as if its head is buried in the sand. So, while it might be a charming image to picture an ostrich with its head buried in the sand, it's simply not true. Turns out, ostriches are much smarter than we give them credit for. Camels, the water tanks of the desert, right? Well, let's take a closer look at this common myth. The iconic humps of camels are often associated with water storage. However, that's not the case. These humps are not filled with water, but rather with fat. Yes, that's right, fat, not water. Now you may wonder, how does storing fat help camels survive the harsh desert conditions? Well, the fat stored in a camel's hump serves as a source of nutrition. When food is scarce, camels can break down these fat reserves into water and energy, helping them survive for days, sometimes even weeks, without food or water. This incredible adaptation allows camels to thrive in some of the most unforgiving environments on our planet. So, while it's a myth that camels carry their own water supply, the truth is no less remarkable. So, camels are not walking water containers, but they have their own unique survival strategy. Sharks, the bloodhounds of the ocean? It's time to dive into our third myth, which paints these fascinating creatures as having superhuman, or should we say, super fishy abilities. The myth we're examining claims that sharks can smell a single drop of blood miles away. So what's the truth? While sharks indeed have a highly developed sense of smell, it's not quite as extreme as this myth suggests. A shark's olfactory bulb, which is responsible for detecting scents, is actually quite large, making up to 2/3 of its brain. This means they can detect certain substances in minute concentrations, but not from miles away. Instead, it's more accurate to say that a shark could detect a drop of blood in about 1 million gallons of water, or roughly the equivalent of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So yes, sharks do have an impressive sense of smell, but it's not quite as sensational as the myths suggest. Ever heard that goldfish can't remember anything beyond 3 seconds? It's a popular myth, but hold on to your gills because we're about to debunk it. This misconception likely hails from the observation of goldfish constantly exploring their surroundings as if seeing them for the first time. However, scientific studies suggest a much different story. Goldfish, it turns out, have a memory span that extends far beyond the reputed 3 seconds. Research has shown that goldfish can be trained to recognize different shapes, colors, and sounds. They can even be conditioned to respond to light signals for feeding time and retain this information for several months. Yes, months. Not seconds, not minutes, but months. So next time you see your goldfish swimming around its bowl, remember, it's not experiencing a case of perpetual déjà vu. It's just living its life, probably remembering more than we give it credit for. So your pet goldfish might remember you after all. Bats, the blind flyers of the night? A common misconception, but far from the truth. The myth that bats are blind has been around for centuries, but it's just that, a myth. Yes, bats are nocturnal, and yes, they do use echolocation, a form of sonar, to navigate and hunt in the dark. But this doesn't mean they lack vision. In fact, research shows that bats have pretty decent eyesight. Contrary to popular belief, their eyes aren't just for show. Depending on the species, some bats can see even better than humans in certain conditions, especially in low light. Their vision and echolocation work together, complementing each other to provide a more detailed picture of their surroundings. So, the next time you see a bat swooping down in the twilight, remember, it's not blindly fumbling in the dark. It's using a combination of sharp eyesight and precision sonar to master the night. Bats might prefer the night, but they're certainly not blind. So, we've debunked quite a few myths today. As we journeyed through the mythical world of animal survival, we've uncovered the truths that lay hidden beneath the surface of some common misconceptions. We've seen how, contrary to popular belief, ostriches don't bury their heads in the sand to escape danger. Instead, they use their powerful legs to kick predators away, or run at incredible speeds to evade them. Then, we dove into the desert, where we debunked the myth that camels store water in their humps. As it turns out, these humps are actually filled with fat, which serves as a source of nourishment when food is scarce. Water storage? That's all in the camel's unique ability to conserve and manage water within its body. Next, we swam with the sharks and discovered that, although they have an impressive sense of smell, they can't detect a single drop of blood miles away. Their olfactory prowess is more about the ability to track scents in the water close by rather than from a considerable distance. We then plunged into the world of goldfish and shattered the myth of their 3-second memory span. In reality, goldfish can remember things for months, not mere seconds. They can recognize their owners, learn tricks, and even navigate complex mazes. Finally, we flew into the night with bats and dispelled the myth of their blindness. Contrary to the saying blind as a bat, bats can actually see, although their echolocation skills are indeed their primary navigation tool. Each of these myths, while entertaining, paints an incomplete and often incorrect picture of these fascinating creatures. Their real survival strategies are far more complex, intriguing, and adapted to their unique environments. Understanding the true nature of these animals not only satisfies our curiosity but also deepens our respect and appreciation for the world's biodiversity. Next time you hear an animal myth, remember to dig a little deeper for the truth.